everybody, this is Nate with another Backcountry beer review. Today I'm on Cerro Picacho, which is one of the named peaks in the very tiny San Miguel range. This range is not very popular, but if you live in Albuquerque, you can easily see it. Just drive north on I-25 like you're leaving town, and bam, you can see them clear as day as you're heading out. If you ever go to Los Alamos or White Rock area, you can see them clear as day. They're a peak group that is pretty unknown. I think a lot of people just think it's part of the Jemez. It technically might be, but I've known it as the San Miguels, and being as a separate mountain range. We're kind of surrounded by remote wilderness. Literally, we have the Dome Wilderness right here, and then the Bandelier Wilderness very close by. And then on this side, I believe we're mostly looking at Coche de Pueblo land. So you're pretty lonely out here, and I can definitely sense it. I was kind of breaking trail, driving up to the trailhead on the snowy road. It was a little sketchy at times, actually, but I think I'll have no problem getting back. There's a lot of rambling. Let's talk about the beer. The brewery, of course, needs no introduction. It's Novo Brewing Company, Corrales, New Mexico. I've reviewed, I think, 2 of their beers, and to be honest, if I didn't want to maintain some kind of variety, it'd be really hard not to review them more often than I do. They tend to come out with excellent lagers, and so I like to review them for lager summer. They come out with excellent IPAs, but I try not to review a lot of IPAs, and they come out with excellent high ABV barrel-aged type beers, this one included. This is their Nevermore series, 2023 edition. It is a black barley wine with whole cocoa beans and smoked figs. It's barrel-aged. I happen to know that the barrel, I think, is Oregon Pinot Noir. I'll correct that if I'm wrong. There's nothing really else on the can. I think this is the first year I've enjoyed the Nevermore black barley wine. I might have had one last year, but I might be conflating that with Kill the Sun. Anyway, I would love to open this up here and enjoy it. It is not as cold as it looks, actually. Even though it looks really chilly out with the snow and everything, it's probably, I don't know, it's probably in the lower 40s. This actually feels pretty warm, but I'd love to enjoy this right now. But with how steep and slick and slippery, I don't really want to break my ankle twice in 2023. So depending on how I feel, as I hike back to the car, I might hike up St. Peter's Dome, which is just off camera to my left. It is the tallest point in the San Miguels, and I've been there once before, but I figure, for posterity, might come up and just bag the highest point. Otherwise, we will enjoy this closer to the trailhead. See you soon. All right, I'm pretty much beat in the ankle region. As I mentioned, I broke my ankle about 6 months ago. I'm sure most of you probably already know that, but all this snow made for really difficult hiking in terms of joints. So I have the physical energy to make it up to St. Peter's Dome, but my ankle is just done with me. I'm gonna head back to the car, it's about half a mile away, and head home. But let's try this beer out. Let's take a sip. I would say right now, ironically, the beer is a little bit warmer than when I tried it at home. And so I'm getting some different flavors. What I'm definitely getting for sure is this like chocolate ganache flavor. What's also pretty pronounced is this like general red fruit. Kind of say like raspberry, cherry. I think that's coming from the red wine barrel aging because it's not really anything I've ever gotten in a beer before. I'm getting a little bit of like extra fruitiness. Maybe as the flavor profile evolves, I'm picking up those figs a little bit that it says it's brewed with. I don't know if I'm really picking up anything I would call smoky. I do think I get this kind of like general earthiness, but nothing I can really pinpoint is like this is a smoky flavor. I know maybe sometimes smokiness adds a little bit of tartness, and maybe that's where some of that red fruit is coming from. I am definitely getting a lot of like tannin notes. I'm getting this like leatheriness, this dry tannicness. It's almost like it's puckering my mouth. It's almost like a sea salt sensation. Not that it tastes salty, but I think I've described this before. It's like the tannins that just like feel like they're sucking the moisture from your mouth. Again, I think that's probably maybe a little bit from the malts, maybe a little bit from the barrel aging. I just get so little, it's so less sweet than you would expect by smelling it, by getting the aroma. I do get a little bit of like off dryness, kind of in that initial taste where I'm getting that what I said was chocolate ganache. But then it's just so dry, so tannic. It's very intriguing. On the finish here, I may be picking up a little bit of breadiness. something like a pumpernickel rye, or maybe even, I don't know what it's called, but I know it's like that dark German rye that's like super dense and has that real cereal flavor. This is kind of like a dark version of those in the finish. In total, it's a pretty complex beer, I think. It's pretty interesting. It's not like, I really like barley wines. This is, yeah, the whole black barley wine thing is really interesting. I don't think I've ever had another one other than this one, and I'm not even sure if I've had others of these. I really can't remember. But yeah, it's super intriguing. I do love barley wines. As far as like, if you're like, well, I like barley wines, do you think I'll like a black barley wine? I would say this does have that kind of like earthiness, and I would say the strong flavors of a regular barley wine, but it definitely lacks like a lot of that, to me, a lot of that herbalness, that herbaceousness that you maybe get from like the hop profile in a barley wine, or some of those like maltier notes. I mean, certainly I'm getting notes from the malt in this, but not in the like caramel, wheat bread area, more in that, yeah, like really dark rye, dark cereal type area. So pretty cool beer. It's funny that it comes out in like November. I would have thought Nevermore, that they were going for a Poe thing, that it would maybe come out in like Halloween time, but I don't really care. I think it's a pretty cool beer, pretty good. I forgot to mention earlier that it's 2023 when I'm filming this right now. Should be 2024 when this video comes out. So Happy New Year. Hope it's going well so far. Cheers. Have a 2024 Backcountry beer for me.